Today I'm just presenting a journey that we've taken to improve our transfer station safety for customers, but also realising some resource recovery opportunities along the way. Now, these might seem like they're very strange bedfellows, and the two issues would seem unconnected, but it's been our experience that they are certainly aligned and seem to complement each other quite well. It was while we were analysing and implementing some safety controls for our transfer stations, and in particular the customer drop-off areas, the recurring and emerging theme was that always strong opportunities to increase our resource recovery and divert those streams from our landfill stream. These improvements appear to have a very positive effect on our diversion and recovery rates, and they're also seeing us realise some substantial economic savings. I'll also present a trial that we've been conducting at the Ulladulla Recycling and Waste Depot, utilising an Elven, it's quite new and modern Elven system to achieve a safe, efficient and effective operation. So just a little bit on the Shoalhaven City Council. It's one of the largest regional councils in New South Wales. Our LGA covers 4,531 square kilometres. It's currently supply curbside services to 55,000 dwellings. The population of the Shoalhaven is around the 101,000 mark in 51 towns and villages. During holiday seasons, our population swells to an estimated 300,000 plus at times. This presents some substantial waste and recycling challenges for us. We currently operate 10 transfer stations from which we transfer up to 14,000 tonnes to landfill. We also operate 2 landfill sites and accept about 68,000 tonnes annually. At West Nowra, we also operate a very successful landfill gas generation system that generates about 1 megawatt of power to the grid. Our team consists of 58 fantastic committed staff that are always looking to minimise landfill. We also currently operate 10 elevated sawtooth ro-ro type customer drop-off areas, and currently planning to adopt the flat floor approach in the future. In 2014, we witnessed a very unfortunate accident that led to a fatality at the West Nowra transfer station public drop-off area. In collaboration with the WorkSafe New South Wales investigation, we reviewed our facilities and processes. This made us implement many new control measures, as well as reinforcing some of our existing procedures. They include increased supervision at customer drop-off areas, customer exclusion zones, wheel stops, improved fixed safety railings, and customer assistance devices like bin lifters, chutes and slides. Our risk analysis and planning path led us to accepting the flat floor approach for our transfer stations and customer drop-off areas in the future. We firmly believe this will remove the majority of the associated hazards for both staff and customers attending these areas. It's just interesting to note that during the risk assessment process, we found it very frustrating that there was very little industry data to draw on to assist in analysing the overall risk at a waste facility. I believe that there's a need for our industry to accumulate in public safety statistics from waste and recycling facilities specifically. As part of our developed longer-term strategy, we are currently constructing a new flat floor transfer station at West Nowra waste and recycling facility. This includes a covered drop-off area, which is, you can see in the slide. Also a segregated waste sorting and processing areas which will be completely separate to the customer area. The safety benefits include segregated safety zones, elimination from fall, from height risk, and reduction of risks associated with fixed safety barriers and trip hazards. We intend to also see an increased resource recovery at this new facility that will allow us to more effectively sort and remove resources from the landfill stream from both domestic and commercial sources. We've got a case study now to show you about an Elven trial that we're running at our Ulladulla Recycling and Waste Depot, which is our largest remote transfer station, some 88 kilometres from the nearest landfill. We receive, process and transfer 4,260 tonnes of waste per year and 4,200 tonnes of recycling per year. We interact on average with 3,500 customers per month, and the site is successfully controlled and operated by 5 staff members per day. We're open 7 days a week for 9 hours a day. The existing or present customer drop-off area is an elevated sawtooth type ro-ro. We've embarked on a trial at Ulladulla that allows us to further test our flat floor approach. At a remote transfer station, Contained Waste Solutions have developed the Elven System, a new low-cost modular flat floor waste transfer station that provides a vastly improved safety environment and opportunity to recover resources from the landfill waste stream. We've chosen to trial this system because of its simple design and ease of use by customers and staff. The Elven system has allowed us to implement a flat floor approach to the customer drop-off area easily and eliminate the fall from height risk. Due to the simplicity of its design also, we're able to adjust the setup. Modular in design, it means you can tweak the system as you sort of use it constantly. The tweaking come around to save customer safety, like as we know, most people can't reverse trailers very effectively, even though we think we can. It allowed us to change the setup slightly and make it a bit user-friendly for that. Importantly, the system allowed us to set up the separated customer and work zones required. These also eliminate interactions between the machines and customers. Customers only have access to the front of the Elbins and are assisted by staff to separate and recycle at this point. And the loader operates in its segregated work zone behind the Elbins, either sorting or disposing to the landfill waste stream. This system allows the potential for customers falling at heights and can unload without that increased fall risk or the alternative, which is intense, I call it intense supervision. Also, designing the transfer station to the wider bays allows for more room for reversing and unloading. We actually found by slightly adjusting the bays a bit wider, people were a little bit more comfortable and they unloaded a lot quicker. This system has no fixed barriers, wheel stops or trip hazards. The fixed barriers in a traditional elevated sawtooth transfer station often introduce further issues and increase customer time on site. When we first implemented the interim risk controls at our elevated sawtooth, the most common complaint from customers was regarding the fixed barriers and the wheel stops and them having to negotiate those things to dispose of their waste. And as I said, our traditional elevated sawtooths are full of trip hazards. The bin stop's integral into this system, as well as the guides and mobile barriers, define the safety zones between the customers and staff. It's a very efficient way to keep both sides of the fence working, if you know what I mean. The quick attachment on the loader allows it to quickly and safely service the Elbins, remove them from service. We either further sort the material in the bins, send it to recycling or the landfill stream. The loader can easily remove and empty and replace a single Elbin in less than 2 minutes, which is pretty quick. During our analysis of our transfer stations, we found that a contributing factor to a contributing risk factor, was the actual time customers are on site. The Elven System at Ulladulla has reduced the customer's time on site by up to 50%.
So you used the site a fair bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've used the other section? And how do you find this one?
Heaps easier.
Heaps easier, and why is that?
Quicker.
Yep.
Yeah, and don't travel too far with the go from your back right.
Yeah, and just slide it off, basically. And so how often do you use it, do you reckon?
I'm here a fair bit. Probably a couple of times a week.
Right, okay. And it's normally all this building material?
All building.
Yeah, okay. So you're a local chippy or something, are you? Or?
Yeah, I work for a builder.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
And so how much quicker do you think it's been?
A lot.
A lot? So what, you're taking half the time, or is it?
Probably half the time.
Half?
I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's quicker for us, better.
Oh, that's good, mate. That's...
Interesting character. We've also experienced an overall increase in the customer satisfaction on site while the Elbins have been there. Specifically, customers have commented the ease of disposing their waste. We issued a customer survey and got 99% positive feedback, which is quite strange for a local government survey. Very strange. Another important feature to note that while utilising this system, we actually use less customer drop-off bays than we did with the traditional sawtooth. And I think this is due to the ease of disposal for customers and the efficiency of emptying the bins quite quickly. This slide shows that the L-bins are deceptively large in capacity. They can easily accommodate an average of 2 or 3 customer loads per bin. Even at the peak holiday season, when the transfer station was experiencing high customer demand, the Elven System allowed staff to easily keep up with the demand, and they also report that the system has all but eliminated customers waiting in line to use the facility. Waiting time in the traditional elevated sawtooth ro-ro area was common due to the need for staff to manage the bins and to try and get the density in the bins to try and maximise our transport costing. I've broken it. Sorry about that. Oh no, got to go back one. Sorry. Due to the delineated safety zones that I've spoken about, the staff can inspect loads, remove resources, have full vision of the complete area, and importantly, educate the customers about some recycling and also to recover quite a lot of resources, and also to identify problematic waste. Our staff they reported quite on a number of occasions, and that's another survey I did, staff survey, and that was very positive. Another unusual beast. Our staff report that they feel they have more control of the whole area, especially when there is a lot of cars there. The system has liquid containment built into the bins, which we found particularly handy if there's any orphaned or problematic waste discovered. As you know, it doesn't matter how many signs you put up or how much education we try to get through to people, people still bring the nasties to our sites. With this system, the yellow lid is just rolled down, the loader can pick the bin, place it, replace the bin so that the operation can continue, and then we get to clean up what's inside the bin at a different area, at a relocated area in our own time. If hazards were identified, the point was that we could remove the hazards from the public area and without any disruption to the ongoing operation of the site. Okay, this is the money page. We've seen an approximately 8% decrease in transferred waste to the landfill observed in the first 3 months that we've been running this trial. We would expect this to increase further as customers become accustomed to the system and staff further exploit its potential. Recovered items to the tip shop increased by 40%. This is largely due to the opportunity to access the whole waste stream prior to being loaded into the landfill bin. As we both know, something that's dropped into a 40 cubic metre landfill bin is in the landfill bin. It doesn't get to come back out without all sorts of complications. Another thing is just timber waste recycling, for example. This improved dramatically from a very low baseline. Locally, there's a lot of building waste that comes through the site and is problematic to segregate and recover the elevated sawtooth at the elevated sawtooth drop-off area, especially during periods of high customer use. The Elven system allowed this fraction to be easily accessed and recovered, and it's completely stayed out of the landfill. I should note that these operational improvements were achieved without any extra staff or extended hours of operation. Based on the reductions in landfill waste, we've experienced considerable levy and landfill airspace savings. As I said, it's only been going for a little bit more than 3 months. 3 months when I wrote the paper. In the first 3 months, we saw a dramatic change in the operation at the transfer station. What else was notable is the transport savings. It's more than a couple of bins per month to landfill, so that's a great saving for us. Okay, in summary, our decision to change our approach from traditional elevated sawtooth row customer drop-off areas to flat floor approach has been one that we've carefully considered. The safety of our customers and staff has been the driving factor, but the realisation of improved resource recovery and diversion from the landfill stream has highlighted that this transition won't be as heavy financial burden as first thought. The case study of the Elven trial at Ulladulla and recycling depot has been a journey of analysing the wider industry, carefully planning our approach and proving the concepts that we've chosen. At Ulladulla, in a short period, we've seen significant improvements of customer safety and resource recovery. The two issues may have been initially connected coincidentally, but as we exploit the opportunities that our approach presents, there is mounting evidence that by pursuing efficiencies in one, others seem to follow. I'll just let the video run. It's got some quite good, and I'll give my acknowledgement now. I'd like to thank Ben Hasler from Shoalhaven City Council for the drone footage that you see today. Also Grant Lacey from Contain Waste Solutions. Here you can see our traditional row setup. We've just, by putting a bit of fencing in, basically put the bin on the ground, set the bins up. We were working we had the whole thing installed in a day. This is something else that the Shoalhaven's famous for. I just thought I'd tag that onto the end. Maru Bommy near Ulladulla. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Peter. We've got time for one really quick question. There is one. Yeah?
Great concept, Peter. Well done. Just wanted to ask you if during this trial you've actually considered leachate management.
The leachate management was, because it was at the drop-off area, the bins contain leachate. That they provide our leachate management for that. Any leachate that accrued, it stays in the bin. It then gets tipped into the landfill bin, which there's a complete leachate management system around that. So we had nothing. The bins actually, you don't see it here, but the bins actually tilt slightly backwards. So they actually capture. And also, if a problematic waste was to come in, they each have one of the little yellow pull-down tarps as well, which is another thing for leachate management. But yeah, no, we've had no problem at all. We're very close to a leachate management system, which helps. There is an on-site leachate management system. Yep.
Great, thank you.
Good on you.